answered and adapted here because it looked like Maryville was just kind of firing on all cylinders. Now the Camille ban, as they do move over to the blue side, means that we will not see Rodov on that champion.
Now, Camille was actually not banned out last game, but it was Zach last ban. These bans going extremely quick for Maryville University. They clearly have something in their mind that they want to avoid, and Isaiah and a Camille going to be part of that something that they want to avoid. Maybe throwing Manitoba off a little bit, but they're going to take Caitlyn away from Prototype, and very well played because Prototype is a monster on Caitlyn, and now that they don't have first pick, they could give that first pick over to Prototype, taking away that Caitlyn. Skarner also banned out, not a heavy jungle focus this time around, though I do suspect this last ban from Manitoba to be a jungler.
Yeah, much the case. Likely, possibly that that Olaf coming through again. Would not be surprised to see that one come out and away, but with this focus on AD that we see between the Xayah and the Caitlyn as well. I get the Caitlyn ban. I do. I know Hartwig played it last time. You don't want to give that one over. Yeah, Swain makes sense to take out. You don't want to give that one over to Prototype. He played just fine on Ashe. So Sejuani will be the first pick lockup. This does potentially leave the door open to make some ADC shenanigans come through. Would not be surprised to see a jungle as well if those were the 2 first-round draft pickups from the side of Manitoba here. So there's Jax as well.
Really?
Something that, they might want to steer back towards. Feel like Soul wasn't the problem that last game, but Jarvan, a much better fit, was banned away last time.
That was the one I think we were thinking about, by the way.
Jarvan was banned in the second round of the draft.
Okay.
And it was Maryville that banned it away. I do remember that.
Okay. Yeah,
I remember. The case, they do pick up Jungle AD. That does mean that Jhin will be the representative coming out. They're going to take that one out, but look at that. Kaisa picked up with no hesitation whatsoever. They knew exactly if it was open, they wanted it.
So Kaisa's been practiced and actually by Prototype quite a bit. Actually practiced by cat ears too, but we're not going to see Kaisa in the jungle because we do see Sejuani locked in already. Kaisa got a nice buff this time around, not only to her damage stats, but also to her auto attack range. So 525, actually a pretty decent ADC now. Don't have to be extremely close anymore to be able to auto attack, harass, do the things you need to, whatever you need to do as Kaisa. So Prototype feeling comfortable on that one. Going to go on to that Kaisa, and it's going to be my first Kaisa game I've casted, so bear with me if some mistakes are made, but I'm pretty sure I got most of her skills down already just by watching other people play her. Again, Cat Ears has been streaming Kaisa jungle quite a bit lately. Interested to see that. But on the other side, we do see Braum being locked in over for KBS, and that is going to be picked into the Lulu. So Lulu going to be kind of the same idea as the Janna, being able to reset team fights, protect your teammates, but also just dish out a lot of CC as well. Very annoying champion to deal with, but Azir being taken away as well as the Gnar. So CKG has to find a different mid laner, but he has a very deep champion pool.
It's very interesting to me that you mentioned that Kaisa has been cat ears in the jungle, because I thought with the recent just tweaks there and what they've been doing, it would have been Prototype playing that one into the AD role. But it is very important to note that that is a strong flex candidate at this point. They could take it either way depending on the way these bans and the 4th pick come out now.
Well, with the Sejuani pick, I think that's going to be a Kaisa ADC.
Oh, you know what? Yep, I'm smoking something. don't smoke, kids.
It's legal where I'm at, so I can smoke all I want.
I got thrown off thrown off when you said that Cat Ears has been streaming it in the jungle. I totally forgot about the Sejuani, but yeah, no, Cat Ears on the Kaisa would be cool, but it will be Prototype. So we'll just
it's going to be cool to see her no matter what.
Join the circle of forgiveness, and we're going to forgive that little slip up. Happens from time to time to the best of us.
Of course, but we do see the last bans coming out, focus heavily onto the mid lane with Azir, Ryze, and Orianna being taken away. The only other laner being changed, taken away is the Gnar, taken away from Rodov. Anxious to see what Saskio goes in the top lane now that they have a tanky jungler. Maybe going on a more offensive top laner. Would be excited to see that one. We're going to see what Prototype and West pick up. We still have a mid lane and a top laner to look at for Maryville. Vladimir locked in for Kept. So that is going to be a big power spike in that, or a big amount of power in that mid lane. No CC, of course, but a lot to offer with the Vladimir, and also stays relatively safe, able to sustain, and Sanguine Pool if you do get ganked. And of course, Sejuani, Cat Ears on Sejuani, going to be looking for that. Ornn locked in once again for Saskio. And Anivia, we saw Anivia yesterday from George Mason, worked out very well with the control zones, and we're going to see if CKG can do the exact same thing with Anivia.
Yeah, CKG very good at those control type mages, so Anivia really, really fits quite well. A Kale potential would make things a little interesting there. We'll
I don't
talk about that
know.
if and when it gets locked in.
Yeah,
In the meantime,
yeah.
Orn in the top side. Nope, it is the Jarvan the fourth coming down.
Jack's top
actually.
lane.
So that will be Jax in the top lane to deal with the Orn. Good play there because, Orn was picked with the assumption that Jax would be the jungler. So they thought we want something safe. They banned away the Gnar. Not worrying too heavily about that one. And so Orn getting locked in there does mean Jax can have a bit of a better time in the top lane. That said, Gnar, a really comfortable matchup into Orn, didn't go the way of Rodolph last time. We'll see if Jax this time around is something he feels a little bit more comfortable on. Jhin as well pulled out for Heartwig. Excited to see how that one plays because the rest of the game should be relatively similar from what we saw. Vladimir for Kept still running down Jarvan. Bit of a change up for Soul, but we'll see. We'll see if that does end up being a big power point. It was banned away last game, so he will get it coming into this one as the adaptive bans come out for blue side Maryville. A lot to consider, a lot to chew on here as this composition has made itself shown.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I'm anxious to see, obviously the Kai'Sa, Anivia in the mid lane, also Jax on Rodolph on Jax in the top lane. Anxious to see if he goes press the attack or Conqueror. Conqueror again is a good. It's very good for offensive, aggressive top laners, which is what I expected to see from Saskio. But he's filling his role as what he needs, or what he feels like his team needs. That being Ornn, tanky top laner, did very well last game with him. Lulu, actually West, I'm actually happy to see him on Lulu. His Janna, I didn't feel like was as well as it could have been. Obviously, no Papa Chow Janna coming out, but he did well enough to, obviously, on Janna to net himself a win in that game number 1. But I feel like monsoons, every now and then, were just a little bit hazy. Also, his tornadoes didn't quite connect as well as I felt like they could have. But Lulu, I think a little bit easier to connect with things. Also, a little bit more straightforward of what you do, and with less positioning in mind, might help out West in that bot side. Lulu, very good idea. And also, you do see the Ignites going on the bot side. That being because Ignite did get a buff. Does a little bit more true damage now, so we're even seeing a Lulu take a buff, even against a Jarvan and a Jax. You're not even going to take Exhaust against them because you can get such a nice early game advantage if you can get those kills with that Ignite in the early game in the bot lane.
Very, very much the case, and so both supports knowing that. Vladimir as well taking that into the mid lane. A lot of Ignites coming through this game, no huge surprises there. What is going to be interesting is to see the way they can try to sustain through it, because Ignite can be a little tricky. Vladimir coming into an Anivia, you want to burst that out, and then you get the health bar down, and all of a sudden there's this egg, and it's possibly under tower. Cat God obviously knows how to play within the parameters of that. So it'll become this fun dance of when is the Ignite off cooldown versus when is the Ignite off cooldown at the same time as the egg being on cooldown. Obviously, that only lasts for the duration of the laning phase, as the real target will likely become Kai'Sa there as we do get into the more mid-game focused fights and when Vladimir might want to be roaming out and about. We'll see how it all pans out once we do get onto the Rift. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we just got a little bit of information about the CSL to share with you all today. So if you want to keep up with what we're doing in the realm of collegiate esports, get involved in maybe a little bit more than league, or if your school's not involved and you want to get it more involved, Discord is a great way to keep up with everything we are doing. You can type !Discord in the chat to get into that community. We do a lot of stuff there, a lot of fun community games, a lot of promotional events. So do keep your eye on that one for more stuff coming up. You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/CStarLeague. There's also twitter.com/CSLLOL if you don't want to be bothered with any of the inferior esports and just get league-specific content there. Facebook.com/CStarLeague as well. We do want to give a huge shout out to Twitch TV. That is twitch.tv. You're here now. As always, nothing but gratitude for the largest platform in all of competitive gaming to support our collegiate esport endeavors, from events like PAX East and West. CSL wouldn't be what we are today without their continued help and support. So be on the lookout for cool opportunities to get involved with Twitch in the near future here. That's going to be facebook.com/Twitch, twitter.com/Twitch. You're on Twitch TV unless you're watching us on a VOD, which means you're on youtube.com/user/CStarLeague, checking out all of our VODs where we keep everything that we do here on stream uploaded. And that's not just the collegiate games. There's all sorts of things going on with the quad and the talk shows and other events that we're involved with. So a lot of stuff there to peruse as well. Again, that is youtube.com/user/CStarLeague. And with that, we are into game number 2, Maryville versus Manitoba. It's a side swap, which means on the blue side, it will be Maryville. Saskio in the top lane. Cat Ears in the jungle still. CKG running down that mid lane, and Prototype and West rounding out the bot half of the map there.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna let the timer, the pause distract me this time. Manitoba on the other side, top lane Rodov in jungle, Soul, mid lane Kept, and in the bot lane it's gonna be Hartwig and KBS. Manitoba looking to get some retribution this time around, make this into a series. They got stomped pretty heavily in game number 1, but they want to prove that that is something they can adapt to and bring back in a game number 2. Both mid laners taking the minion dematerializer, so they're going to be shoving even harder. That's so important for Vladimir, in my opinion, because he can't farm safely, especially against an Anivia, because he's very predictable, very telegraphed about what he does in the mid lane. Go up Q, but if you want to be able to farm an entire wave, you have to kind of use the tides of blood and get into the face of the minions. And CKG, he's seasoned enough. He can predict that, put a wall behind him, make a zone, do a lot of damage. Actually force out the Sanguine Pool, too. That's something you don't want to do either.
No, certainly not the case. So we'll see how it all pans out after the pause. Obviously, they did just decide that needed a little bit of time to get something going on here. I don't know if that was a player failing to load in. Looks like they're all here at present and accounted for. Maybe it's just a peripheral issue or so forth. It's not something that we have too much information on right now, but we will get back into it very quickly. It says 1 second here from Maryville. They were the ones to initiate the pause, so they will be bringing it back before too long. Well, no, that doesn't sound right, because Soul was the one to pause the game. Maryville are just taking their time to say that they're ready, so who knows? It's a mystery, and unfortunately, Scooby-Doo and the rest of the gang are not around to help us out today, so you just have to deal with what information we can provide and gather from the players.
Yeah, and, that's not too much, but what we can do, let's talk about what items have been started thus far. We have Saskio going once again with the Corrupting Potion in that top side. Going to stay safe. Going to be a little bit easier to farm underneath the turret when against a Jax. Last game he was against a Gnar, so he's not going to be pressured with those boomerangs. Or I don't know what Gnar throws. I think they're boomerangs. They might be bones. I know one, actually his Q is a boomerang, and then I think everything else
comes back to him. So.
Yeah. I think his auto attacks are just like bones or something. But either way, he's not going to be pressured underneath the turret by a Gnar. Jax can't really pressure you under a turret. He can push you into a turret, but can't auto-attack you while you're trying to just farm underneath. And let's talk about Jax. Rodov, he took that Conqueror a summoner spell, or not summoner spell, the rune. Very excited to see that one. Yeah. The Keystone Mastery on that top side is going to be Conqueror. Last game, we saw Soul take Jax into the jungles. He took Press the Attack. Didn't work out too well for him, especially since he built the Tanky. Press the Attack is a very offensive-oriented summoner spell. Not summoner. Why do I keep calling them summoner spells? Keystone. Thank you, Corvus. But in the top side, we're going to see a little bit more offensive version of this Jax from Rodov. Very excited to see how that one works out.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Warmog's Jax was just not there last time around. We saw, Warmog's playing pretty well. So we talked about this. I feel like we keep referencing back to yesterday's series when we saw George Mason versus Texas A&M. George Mason taking it in a 3-1. We saw GMU, I believe it was GMU. It actually may have been A&M. One of the two picked up the Jarvan and just built him so tanky and actually played it really well because they fed into the scaling portion of their team and snowballed just through their lane play entirely separate of the Jarvan. And so they didn't rely too much on his early damage. That's okay. They got him the early Warmogs, and he was just able to become such a bully tank for his team. And so they were able to just withstand so much damage. I want to say that was A&M that ended up running that one through. But speaking of running through, the pause is done over with, and players will be getting into game number 2 now, finally. So there's a little bit of a wait between it, but we are here now, ladies and gentlemen, ready for the action to continue. It was 33 minutes if we round up last game. We'll see if we get a quicker one this time or if this is going to go the distance.
Yeah, and let's take a look at this, the Keystones in the mid lane. This actually, I do get to talk about Summoner spells finally, because they're taking the Unsealed Spellbook, which means Kep has the Ignite, looking to go aggressive early on onto CKG, who took Heal, which is really interesting, because you have to kill Anivia twice because of that egg, so it's almost like a free Guardian Angels. But he's going to try to force that one out, but we do anticipate seeing the Heal and the Ignite possibly be turned into a Teleport later on during these games to get more map pressure going in the mid-to-late game team fights.
Yeah, map pressure is definitely the name of the game here when it comes to the rotational play that the side of Maryville is going to want to pull out. We praised them so heavily for their macro last game. We'll see if it becomes something as topical in this second game, or if they're just going to try to brute force through some mechanics. I believe when you draft the likes of Anivia and when you put an all-star aggressive player like Saskio in that top lane onto something more team fight oriented in the likes of an Orin, you're kind of betting at that point that it's going to go the distance in terms of your macro play. Now they have a much better team fight composition for themselves this time around, just in that they have Sejuani instead of the Kazakhs there in the bot lane. It's a lot less pick focused as well, not necessarily having the Enchanted Crystal arrow on Ashe. So not be surprised to see Maryville a lot quicker and happier to take a 5-on-5 fight this time around, depending on how well their laning phase goes and how they can shove out and get themselves those early advantages.
Yeah, they certainly do have a more team-oriented team fight, especially with the Sejuani in the jungle instead of the pick potential of the isolated, the Kazakhs who wants to see everyone isolated. And isolation, of course, just screams picks. But this time around, with CKG in that mid lane as Anivia, and of course Orin and Sejuani, huge team fight potential coming out from Maryville University. But as we see, a little bit of aggression already in the mid lane. Let's talk about Cat Ears a little bit as well. Took fleet of footwork this time around, so going to be staying safe, but also getting around the jungle a little bit faster. And regenning himself, while Soul on Jarvan taking Electrocute, very typical of a Jarvan, especially with the combo with the flag and drag auto attack. Can very easily do a huge amount of burst damage early on, but we see maybe a gank in the top side.
Yeah, they want to come in. The stun will find Saskio, so he's got to get out of that one quickly. Flashes away from the flag and drag, which means he will live. Not actually if he continues to try to fight Rodov there. Not going to be the case, but we do see a return gank coming through the bot side. It's flashed out by Kefla. Look at the wall there. That was nice and pretty. The stun as well means they'll get it, actually, just on the edge of it. But CKG playing that one immaculately gives a kill over
Soul's
to the
coming
jungle
back
of Maryville University. Now, they do need to be careful. Yeah, Cat Ears still a low health bar. Has to run out of this one. Okay, CKG can maybe bait with the egg a little bit, but I don't think they want to fight that one through. And as we keep eyes on the bottom and top lanes here, everything coming back towards equilibrium. Still with no flash, Saskio got to run from Rodov here. He's flashing in for it. He knows he can get the kill with another auto attack. And the Jack's a much better answer into the orb this time around. Rodov knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, that's the advantage of Conquer, especially since it's new. You do that burst true damage on that third on that after that 3 seconds. It's incredible. It's really hard to deal with, and obviously you're not going to be building resistances against true damage. You have to build health, and early on you don't have that much health. So very nicely played by Rodov. Got
hang on
flash, but here's a gank.
Coming down. Yeah, they walk prototype. They're going to hit West as well with the Braum passive, so he's going to be the one that does have to flash out of that. But it's only the one summoner gone down thus far. Prototype getting out in one piece, and Soul not wanting to get too heavy under the tower, only has the knife right now, decided that it is not in his best interest whatsoever to try to push this one on out and through any further. So it does burn the flash of the Lulu, but buys Prototype some time to go back. He'll come back with a couple of long swords to his name and keep this moving in the right direction.
And Rodov actually built up building the components to the phage, so he actually has quite a bit of health in that top side. Going to be staying relatively safe, especially now that he has the advantage, and that's what you want as a Jax, is that one kill to get your snowball going. Of course, Saskio, he needs to try his best to avoid giving him another kill, because this Jax can pop off and be a huge burden for Maryville if they need to deal with an extra big damage dealer in the backline, especially one who can dive, one that is not going to be interrupted by a tornado this time around. And of course, Rodov, he can jump over Nivea walls. That is something to keep in mind as well. So needs to be careful feeding up this Jax. Cat Ears going to actually be invading onto Soul there.
Yeah, wants to get the counter jungle down, knows that he can make a good bit of play happen there, all things considered. And just like last game, it's been a series, or playoff rather, trend, I guess would be the best word for it, that we've seen. It's Infernal Drakes early. This was yesterday's story as well with GMU against A&M, but it's another Infernal Drake to kick us off today, and the ward line around it coming out shows that Maryville know exactly how well those Infernal Drakes did for them last game. They're not going to slouch on it this game either, so they're popping the vision down. Make sure that when it does come time to find that dragon, they have the priority.
Yeah, the priority is going to be heavily, of course, like you said, on the Infernal Drake. And that's something that we saw last game from Maryville University. They were able to focus on... Hold on, we have a gank, possibly.
Yeah, they find it. Cat Ears walks in, walks out, walked over the ward. Said no big deal.
Need to be level 6.
Another one's probably warded out by now. No worries.
Yeah, but
One level short of it.
Definitely focus on this Infernal Drake, though, as Cat Ears. He's trying to gank as much as possible. He's made his presence felt quite a bit thus far. Really happy to see how aggressive that he is being. Trying to live up to Chody Walrus here, but we see some aggression on the bot side.
Yeah, they're going to push through. Prototype taking a good bit of damage. We'll do the Ignite and the Brawn passive. That's going to lock him up, but he knows he can still potentially mush through this. He does have to back off his Heartwing, flashing over the wall, and West now has to get the fancy feet to polymorph himself.
We're going to turn this around.
Push some aggression. Thaddeus is here. Yeah, they're going to get in on a KBS, but it's a double kill in the meantime for Heartwing. This Jhin playing much better for him. He'll get the stun up on the Cat Ears with one more shot. That could get him the root as well. Can he turn this into something after the reload? It's a triple kill. He says absolutely playing that one to perfection. And I don't think Maryville thought that was going to be a possibility at all. But this is a revitalized Manitoba coming into this laning phase. I like their draft and their playstyle a lot more. It feels very comfortable.
Yeah, Gen 3-0 right now, that is going to be huge. He hasn't even went back, or he went back once already. Now he's going back, going to be able to pick up the BF sword to build into that Essence Reaver. He is looking very good right now on that bot side, and able to play around the summoner spells and know the damage potential of both Cat Ears' Sejuani and his own on that fourth shot of Jhin. Picking himself up triple kill. Nice start to bot lane for Manitoba.
Yeah, the bot and top lane's looking very good for Manitoba right now. Well, it's only the jungle of Maryville with any kills to their name, so it's not a huge gold lead, but it is favoring Manitoba right now just based off of those two other kills we see. That's going to be the Heartwig show from this point on, I feel like, until they can get potentially kept snowballing there in the mid lane. We'll see Rodov as well, how he's going to continue to stretch his lead in the top lane, because the CS hadn't always been in his favor, but having the kill and the CS dead even does mean that he's in pretty good shape. We'll see whether or not Saskio wants to find the damage here, but I think he's just going to get stunned up, and he'll find some damage all right. It's just not any that he could put out himself, as he did take it there on the chin.
Oh.
Wants to spit that call. The Forge God coming down. The hop out is there, but there's no mana from Rodov at this point. The ward means he's going to be in some trouble. Might have to burn that flash. It just came off cooldown, but he knows it's already too late. No, he does not. Just waits to the last second, rather. Playing a risky game, but down to the minute details does mean he's out in one piece. Did need to burn the flash. So Saskio saying it's not going to be that easy from this point forward.
Yeah, Saskio turning that one around. He's actually up in farm right now, too, despite giving up first blood as well. So that's a very nice prop to Saskio on that top side. Meanwhile, West, he needs to be careful, though. Cat Ears, I think he's just baiting. Cat Ears is level 6 now, so he's going to have that Glacial Prison to work with if Heartwig oversteps his bounds just a little bit. Soul's also down there, but we see him going back, which means, no, he's going to actually stay, which means this will be a 3v3. Nice mirroring of the junglers right now.
Yeah, they're baiting out. They know it is coming through, though. Look at that. It finds it on the Glacial Prison. They're going to come down and find Heartwig before he can do too much damage in this fight. And they may want to bring in Soul, but I think he's just the getaway car now for KBS in that bot lane, just trying to make sure he can bodyguard his support out of that one. Wants to come in for Prototype, actually. Knows he has the damage and will take a cheeky kill away. Does mean Kemp is coming down, but Cat Ears has slain Soul in the meantime. The teleports coming through from the top side. Saskio is here. Can he bully out Kemp before Rodov gets onto him? The answer is no, so he has to get out of that one in one piece. It's the
Here comes Cat God
down from CKG, but he is here now, and the Anivia wall might just make the difference here. It's the ultimate before that even comes through. Rodov overcommits. He knows there's no way out, so he just tries to push through, but Saskio takes that one out and away, and Maryville tie up 5-5 in kills. It's a lit back and forth from each direction, but a lot of Dragon priority now in the hands of this Maryville squad. Blue side, can they get the wards down? They just decide to back off, and everyone will return to lanes, catch their breath a little bit, and reset around this. 10 minutes is a lot of time to go by with no one posturing for this Inferno.
Yeah, seesaw matchup in that bot side overall. I feel like Maryville did get the best of that one because they did get the shutdown gold from Heartwigs. Was at 3 kills thus far, so they get a fair amount of gold. Prototype, he needs to be careful. He's been overstepping a little bit, positioning not quite there on the Kaisa. Level 6, though, is when you can really get into position properly with that dash. Although it's into the enemy face, so you have to make it very advantageous, more like a chasing mechanism, if anything. So needs to be careful. Needs to take advantage of the stealth as well. But building into the Essence Reaver, we used to see Kaisa before the buffs go into Gwinsu's very quickly. Of course, they changed around Gwinsu's to do percent health, or not, I'm sorry, not percent health, percent AP and percent AD and percent attack speed increase. And that's not too advantageous early on. So they're going to opt to build into a crit build now, which has been popular since the rework. Here comes a possible gank in the top side, though.
Yeah, Soul just wants to get in, get out, doesn't worry too much about it. Says we're okay. I don't think they would have that much luck onto Saskio with Call of the Forge God and Flash up as well, so maybe they're just trying to get that summoner burnt out, but either way, top laners hanging up there for the long haul. Here's come Cadiers again, wants to get in onto this with KBS, sorry, trying to get out of that one, does get the knock up in time, but look at Prototype, he's got a lot of damage, he's
There's the dash.
And CKG is back there hanging out. Hartwig stands no chance. Cadiers will take that kill out and away from himself. Prototype, a hefty tower shot on the chin to get out of that one, but it does not matter because he'll take the kill gleefully. Started with an uphill battle against Hartwig, but as he started 3-0, he's now 3-2 due to successful roam down from Cadiers. And they're buying a lot of time for Soul. Just he's hanging out here in this bot lane. They're wasting a lot of this jungle coming out now from the side of Manitoba.
Yeah, kept trying to make his way down there as well. Not going to happen, but you saw the advantage that Prototype has at level 6. They'd be able to use that ultimate to chase, get the dash into the enemy's face, pick up a kill for himself. Very nicely played by Prototype, getting the hang of that Kaisa possibly, but maybe see something.
This is sneaky.
A dragon?
This is sneaky indeed. Yeah, they waited till the backs came through, and Soul is now on the dragon. He has the rotation from Hartwig and KBS as well. So they lost the battle, but they're taking an important step here in the war. And that will be the Infernal Drake coming through. First one for themselves, and that's got to feel really good. I don't think Maryville believed they would go for it. And it's Mountain up next on the docket, so that Infernal potentially being unanswered into the mid-game is pretty large.
Yeah, this is already a lot better in the second game for Manitoba. They were able to pick up the kills where they need to. They're giving some back, but it's not a huge bane to them yet. They're also able to pick up their very first objective of the series, that being the Infernal Drake. Very good to have. Like you said, especially coming into the mid to late game, whenever they start getting that more effectiveness on the percent health damage. Or not percent health, but the percent damage stats, I should say. So very nicely played by Manitoba, trying to take advantage, turn around, correct their mistakes from game number 1, and you see the adaptation in game number 2, as we see Cat Ears and West invade into the bot side of Manitoba's own jungle. Here comes some aggression on the top side of Saskio.
Yeah, they want to get in onto Jack. Saskio pushing through. The stun doesn't connect. He's playing just to the edge of that one and keeps Rodov's health bar considerably low. He'll have to ward hop out of that one. With teleport coming off cooldown pretty soon, he won't feel bad about burning that to get back to the top side, as there is no dragon fight. Now look at this, however, Prototype dodging out of the glacial fissure does mean that he will stay okay. Could have been disastrous if that one did hit for him. And I want to draw some attention to the ward line down here. Both teams so skittish around any bot side roams. They're going to spot out everything they can so early because that river is lit up like a Christmas tree right now.
Yeah, even one thrown over the Dragon Pit for Manitoba, just to scout out Cat Ears, where his jungle path is, and also if he goes through the Tri-Brush, he's possibly going to be down there. Here comes an engage.
Yeah, it's another one from Cat Ears. We've seen this story before. They keep coming in for KBS, and the polymorph means he's a little bit on the weaker side, but they just have to hold off there. Now, in the meanwhile, Kep and CKG going at it, but it does seem to be going well, more so for CKG, burning through that mana. And the curtain call came out from Hartwig, didn't really do too much, so we see yet again Soul roam down, responding to Cat Ears gank, but he'll be gone by the time that it comes into effect anyway.
Gank in the mid lane, actually gets a flash out of Kep. CKG not having the mana to really respond to that, so that was still a really good attempt by Cat Ears. That getting a flash is still, like, for almost nothing, just throwing a dash out. Actually pretty huge.
It's just a drive-by, because here he is top already, coming in onto Rodolph. They did not expect this level of speed from Cat Ears, and this could potentially be the kill. No, the teleport is coming through. Kept is coming back into that one. Thinks better of it and cancels, placing it on the shorter cooldown. Now Soul wants to come in for the potential dive. He knows Prototype doesn't have much mana, but look at the damage he can spit out anyway. Yeah, the Essence Reaver, no joke on this champion. What might be a problem is the aggressive play in the bot lane. One more will stun him up, and that finds it. KBS takes the kill, but they'll gladly take that. Hartwig, though, a little aggressive for the kill onto West, but gets it anyway. And CKG just here to hold out the wave. So scrappy fights coming down in this bot side, but ADC getting another kill for the side of Manitoba. CKG, however, wants to find KBS and does so.
Oh my gosh.
Now Soul is going to die here as well. It's a double kill for the Icebird in the mid lane, and now Rodov in some real trouble as Cat Ears diving on the back line. We've got chaos across the map, ladies and gentlemen, but it is the chaos of Maryville University that is proving the more potent serum this time around. They've got themselves a 4K gold lead, potential first tower here on the docket as well. And they're finding the extended fights. It's going their way. No real response available right now from the side of Manitoba.
Yeah, top and bot lane right now. Now Prototype getting aggressive.
Yeah, he just wants to get in onto Kep. The passive is going to find its way through there and going to cause the blood pool to have to come on through. Kep knew if he stuck around a little bit longer, he was in some serious trouble. So they lane swap the AD support combo to mid lane. And it seems to be doing a decent enough job throwing off Manitoba. I don't know what their answer to this is going to be.
Yeah, for every... Hold on, more fight possibly here. Soul...
Potentially.
Maybe, yeah, Cat Ears, he's just going to dash out. For every one good thing that Manitoba does, Maryville does 2 or 3. So while, yeah, Manitoba is improving, Maryville keeping way up ahead of them. Heartwig caught, though, possibly.
Ooh, yeah, that's the worst champion to get on that side of the wall, but it is just a quick escape. Now look at this. Bad news for Kep. He's going to have to pull out of that one yet again. The teleport comes through for Rodolph to join the fight, but Soul is stunned up. By the time he gets there, he's going to be dead even, as the teleport was not effective enough. Saskio here, KBS.
Oh, the wall.
Heartwig as well from the wall. Great play as Prototype finds one under the tower. KBS likely the second, but the shield absorbs a hell of a lot of damage. Doesn't matter. Double kill, CKG taking the tower. They know he has the egg. Not too worried. Prototype hops under the next tower just to keep proxying this wave and keeping the damage out there. They know.
Oh, they still have this?
The call the Forge God wants to come through will get pulled out of. So it was just perhaps a message being sent by Maryville University. Don't try anything. We are taking this tower, and there's nothing you can do about it. But look at this. Cat Ears and Rodov potentially... Cat Ears and CKG potentially baiting out Rodov. He has nowhere to run, but he will be able to get out of this one, as they know they don't want to push any further into that. 14-7 is where we find ourselves on the kill docket. 35K to 27. About a 7K gold difference. 6.5 if we want to get technical. Cat God will have to make some technical moves to get out of this one, but Kept is in some trouble there. It's Sejuani over the wall. Soul is coming in for it, and the fight scraps just continue. No time to catch their breath. No rest for the Wicked. And I think this should finally be the back off. Please.
This is actually really good for Manitoba because they're keeping the health bars of Maryville low. They're keeping them from backing, which means they have this dragon priority. So we see it started right now. Saskio top lane, he has no teleport. Of course, Rodov's not there either, but Saskio is the big front line right now. And I think this dragon may be going over to Manitoba.
Well, that would be definitely a nice pickup for them, the Mountain Drake. For those of you who've been living under a rock and don't know, good for taking towers and objectives, 2 things that, Manitoba has not done yet this game. So they do at least get the 2 Drakes for themselves. That'll help when it comes to Baron fights. Looks like it'll be Rift Herald taken over in exchange for Maryville. It's a nice Mountain Drake pickup. We'll see if they can get their first tower, not only of the game, but of the series off of it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, too. Maryville, they were caught a little off guard. They weren't able to back. There was no steal this time around from Cat Ears, but and as I talk about that, somebody gets caught. I can't talk.
Buddy. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah,
he had 1 ward, and he thought that got him out scot-free. It does not.
Yeah, no, it does not. That's certainly true, as we see bot lane of Manitoba maybe pushing into that bot lane turret. But here comes the Rift Herald. They want to get that mid lane inner turret down as quick as possible, and Rift Herald will be the one to do that. And for everything that Manitoba does, again, Maryville University, they have an answer. Even if they didn't get that Mountain Drake, they get a turret because they also have the Rift Herald. So, again, for every 1 good thing that Manitoba does, Maryville does 2 or 3. We're seeing it still on display here.
I think this is so clever from Maryville. If we take a look back at the bot side of the map, there's so many red wards. There were about 2 or 3 more before they just either expired or were placed out because of the 3 ward per champion rule. But either way, Maryville knew how heavily the bot side of the map was warded up. They say, we're not going to worry about it. We'll give the dragon up for free. We'll take Rift Herald and then just go straight into mid side of the map.
The bait.
Ouch. Yeah, Rodov going to take some serious damage there. That wall just keeps getting longer and longer. KBS there with the shield to make sure Rodov does get out okay, and now Soul trying to bait something through, but It is the Baron now keeping interest for both of these teams. They're going to try to get in onto West. CKG walls off the rest of the team and kept with the polymorph. Should take some damage out on the chin for this one. Gets himself to about half health. They're just buying time for Prototype to roam up. He's still only passing the Baron just now. Soul knows it. He wants to get in. Rest of the team not on the same page, which means Rodov will be trying to get in or out of this one. Cannot decide, and that could be lethal as Prototype with the dash.
Oh, Prototype.
That's going to be the double kill. No, taken away by CKG as he finds himself the rampage, but Prototype definitely the star player of that fight, knew exactly when to get in. The team baited out so well, and the play from Maryville is just immaculate this game. 21 minutes in, 10K gold lead. I think we've seen this somewhere before, Fekez.
Yeah, this is looking very good for Maryville at that 10K gold lead. And if you give them a little bit of lead, they will stretch that to a mile. Exactly what we're seeing here right now. As that last team fight, very long drawn out. That was an attempted pick off onto West. Did not happen. CKG waiting there and just was able to buy enough time. Zone off the entire top side of that area with his walls and his ultimate, his Arctic Circle, and wait for his team to get there. Very nicely played by CKG. 4-0-7 right now, going well, I would say unkillable. He is killable. They just haven't been able to do it yet. So deathless for sure in game number 2.
Insane play thus far. I mean, Maryville really just putting on a clinic here in the northern region. We talk about the northern region as the toughest one for a reason. It's because teams like Maryville, like Columbia College, just post themselves up as these indomitable threats. And it looks to be, if they keep up at this pace, Maryville, strong potential to punch their ticket on to finals where they will play Columbia College. We as well going to see plenty of action coming up as Midwest Campus Clash before too long here, but now Kept is dealing with the more immediate problem. Trying to get out of this one doesn't matter. Red turret is destroyed. They catch with the Glacial Prison onto Braum. Here comes Call of the Forge God. Knocks up 3. How big is it going to be? I don't think that important. They're just buying themselves some time for Manitoba because they know that Jax is on the split push in the bot lane. He has the teleport. So can they continue this one out? Can they buy the time for Maryville? Because if they start up this Baron, who knows what could happen. Braum is still back in base. Jax could teleport in, sure, but the 5v5 has been to the credit of MU thus far, and we'll see if the Saints keep marching in onto this one. I think they want to find it. I don't think that they expect it from the... It's just a back. It's not a teleport coming out from Jax, so that Baron is free for the side of Maryville.
Nice zone.
Wow, what a wall.
Yeah, not only the wall from CKG, but also then Prototype being able to take advantage of his ultimate and dash in, kill out Soul, pressure him, make sure he can't steal the Baron. Nice Baron by Maryville. Rodov, he probably should have just kept split pushing and just did that traditional Jax and just thud onto the turret, but wanted to play it safe and back. But sometimes safe is not the right call. Could have got a turret out of that one, but did not. So that is going to be Manitoba with their backs against the wall, even more so as the gold is now about almost 2K, or 12K, I should say, gapped right now. And the next dragon is coming up. And you bet that Maryville would love to have their first dragon of game number 2 on. Even though it is the Cloud Drake, it's just something else to help them add with the rotations.
So much the case. You know, we saw...
Oh, Death Brush.
Yeah.
We see Death Brush.
We'll see if they come in for this. It is Cadiers. He's the 10K member. They decide to go for West, but I think he's out of this one okay. The wall, however, turns the tide of the fight, and now Rodov and KVS have nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Soul comes in with a nice Cataclysm. It finds West. Call of the Forge God knocks him up, though. It's already a double kill for Prototype. Only the support dead thus far for the side of Maryville, and now will be kept right where he is. Zonia's to buy him some time, and the flash over the wall makes that a pretty easy decision, but Soul fighting for his life to get out of this one. Now it will be the flash in. Hartwig dies on the other side of things. And so Kept is the only survivor thus far for the side of Manitoba, and it means that the push is just on from Maryville. They're crushing down this top or bot lane tower. They're crushing down the mid lane as well. They should be able to push through and find themselves maybe 1 or 2 inhibitors here.
Yeah, very much so. Manitoba laid a trap. It wasn't even sprung. It was actually, Maryville fell into it. Only West went down during that transaction, though, and that is so huge in this story about how powerful Maryville is right now and how much Manitoba is struggling in regards to their power spikes. Hartwig was 3-0-0 at one time. Now he's 4-5-3. It's been yeah, it looked like it was going to be easy street for him in that bot side, but And Cat Ears focused so much, made sure that none of his laners fell behind. Knew that Sasuke was going to be finding that top lane, outscale the amount of damage that Rodolph can output. And of course, CKG, he's on probably one of the safest laners in League of Legends right now. So Cat Ears, obvious choice. That bot side had a little bit of trouble. Hartwig was a big target. Cat Ears went straight for it, and now we see the effectiveness of that with Prototype going 8-3-8 right now, being very effective on this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Prototype, you know, had a decent game on the Ashe, played a little bit more utility AD, more so than we ever see him play, or have seen him.
Oh my God!
We have not seen much of him this season. Kept, however, caught up by the wall, does get hit up with the Glacial Prison as well. Call the Forge God coming through. Zanyas is off cooldown. The wall takes out the Forge God, but Kep's health bar taken out in and of itself. He's got to back off. Now Rodolph trying to buy some time. Can he do it? The answer is yes, but the rest of the team might not be able to get out. Prototype on the sidelines finds Hartwig, but if you trying to come in for KBS as well, and Cat God takes out.
I think that's it.
Up Kep, so that's going to be the inhibitor, but there's still Baron minions in the base. Cannon Baron minions at that, which means with the 5 members of Maryville, 27 minutes, it's going to be about 6 minutes quicker than last game if they can put the finishing touches on here. Rodolph, I don't think he can hold this one out. It's going to be a tough try. Here they come in anyway, and look at Soul. He gets just obliterated. Saskio getting himself the kill credit. Rodolph in for the last ditch, but can he 1v5? The answer is an obvious no. So with the ace, ladies and gentlemen, 27.5 minutes, the GGs come down, and Maryville put themselves up 2-0 in this best-of-5 series, and one more to go over Manitoba to reach the finals.
Yeah.